morning, beautiful people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I hope you're all happy and cozy as can be. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this morning and this afternoon, but more of that in a second. First of all, I'm nice and cozy today because, and I've got the second one here, oopla, my thermal tops arrived. Let me just show you. You can see that it's very different to the long johns. But if you remember, I don't know, well, you might not have seen it. The long johns were 2 thermometers. The 2 thermometer tops had sold out, so I went for the 1 thermometer. Again, they're from Marks and Spencer's. I forgot to keep the packaging for these ones. Marks and Spencer's in their Heat Gen range. And these were sold as a 2-pack for 25 quid, which seemed okay. Anyway, I've got one on. Oh, they're great. They are great. I've only got, what have I got on today? I've got 3 layers on today. Yay! Instead of 4. I've got the long johns on underneath my trousers, of course. But yeah, I'm chuffed. I'm a thermals convert. And actually, you know, this morning, the flat is always coldest at its coldest in the morning because obviously it's following the nighttime lower temperature. Our daytime temperatures have climbed a bit, which has made a huge difference. We're out of freezing now. That 10-day freeze, oh my giddy goodness. So because the outside temperature is up a bit, the inside temperature has come up a bit, and you know, it's manageable. It's perfectly manageable. If we get some sunshine today, by this afternoon, I might even take a layer off, have my gloves off, what have you. We'll see. But yeah, all is well. Oh, I did, I'm going to come to the, thing in a minute. I did pop to the garden yesterday. I'm losing track of the days. I think it was yesterday, to do some harvesting, and I've lost a lot of stuff. And I was chatting to Gary about this. He's lost a lot too. We've lost things that normally we wouldn't lose, but I think it's purely because we were having those, 10 days with -6, -7 at night sometimes. But the issue was the daytime temperature wasn't getting much above freezing, so none of the plants had a chance to recover. So 10 days of hard frost, it's done for certain. It's really disheartening. It looks like all my chard and spinach have been wiped out. It looks like half my cavolinaras have been wiped out. Nearly all of Gary's cavolinaras are. I mean, I've never known brassicas succumb, but with, say, the chard, I'm leaving the plants in, and I'm just hoping, because they're a plant that continues to shoot and shoot and shoot, I'm hoping that they'll come back. Now, just before we get on to today's main subject, I had posted a picture on Facebook a few days ago of one of my candles, naughty candle, tried to make a getaway, and the wax had properly dribbled, pooled, then run off the side of the mantelpiece. Fortunately, I had something underneath to catch the drips. But I put that picture onto my Facebook page, and was it Lorraine? Oh, I've forgotten now already. Sorry, Louise? I'm sure it was an L. Lorraine. Anyway, she'd suggested, or she had heard, but not tried it herself, that putting candles into the freezer beforehand did a couple of things. 1, it prevented them from dripping and running, but 2, it made them last longer, so they would burn longer. You get more hours out of one candle. And I thought, well, we're going to have, as Paul would say, a highly scientific experiment. So, a couple of nights ago, I had an experiment. This is what happened. this is a little experiment suggested to me, it's so cold, by Louise on my Facebook page. Get in there. Oh, hang on a sec, I need to give it a bit of a scruggle in. Now, she hadn't tried it herself, she'd only heard of it, but I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. If I can actually get my candle to stay in there. So, 2 identical candles in, close proximity. There's no drafts, there's nothing that's going to, sort of change the circumstances between the two. But this one on the right has been in the freezer. It's like really cold on my hand. It's been in the freezer for 8 hours. That one hasn't. And the idea is, apparently, that a candle that's been in the freezer will burn more slowly, i.e. it will burn for longer. So, that's going to flare, isn't it? And so I'm just putting my match, in my safe place, this ceramic dish. Yeah, let's see if that makes any difference. Also, was it Sheila later on was saying that, because I'd also shown on Facebook a candle from the previous night, and it's the only one that's done it, had tried to escape and it had dribbled all over the mantle and was dripping, and fortunately there was something underneath that caught the drips. But saying that, at the end of the evening, the next day or whatever, if you've got a load of melty wax muck in your candle holder, to put the candle holder in the freezer, if it's made from a material that can stand going into the freezer, pop it into the freezer and it's easier to chip the wax off. So we'll see. I need to do I know what the time is. Okay, so I've clocked the time right now, and we'll have another look, in maybe sort of 4 hours or so. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, we'll see. To see if it makes any difference putting a candle in the freezer, or this is my room temperature candle. Actually, the room isn't much above freezing, so it might not make a lot of difference. It might be one of those experiments. It would be better to do it in the summer. I don't know, but we're doing it right now, so we'll see how we get on in a few hours. Well, I'm back 3 hours later. I don't know how well that picks up. But anyway, look, it's time for me to blow the candles out. It's bedtime and it's gone really, really cold again. So I think it's going to be a duvet and quilt night tonight for the first time ever. I can't wait to get under the covers. But if you remember, so this was the non-freezer candle. This was the freezer candle. And just in case, because obviously the actual flames are kind of glaring in the lens, this is where the tops of the candles are. And you know what, I always like to have an experiment, but I think that conclusively shows that putting one's candle in the freezer to help it to burn more slowly and therefore burn longer does not work. These 2 candles are the same height, they're up to that. In fact, with the naked eye, it's there, I would say the freezer candle is about 2 millimeters shorter than the non-freezer candle. Oh well, like I said, it's always worth an experiment, isn't it? But yeah, it's conclusive. Candles and freezers do not prolong them. And on that note, I'm going to blow them out and say good night to you all. Night night. Don't let the bugs bite. Well, I think that's pretty emphatic, isn't it? Putting your candle in the freezer doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But it was fun to try and didn't cost anything. Anyway, never mind all that. Yeah, I'm excited because today is Treats for a Tenner Day. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I get excited about this. It's become a tradition now, hasn't it? I think, is this the 3rd year of Treats for a Tenner? I'm excited anyway because look, I don't, how to put it, I don't sort of spend on frippery. And I'm not going to spend on fripperies today either, but I think it's that idea that going out with a £10 note and saying, you know what, if you like something, you can have it. And not going through that tug of war that I always go through. Well, hardly go through these days because I just don't go into shops. But anyway, yeah, it's, you know, if I see something and I like it, the point is I don't have to justify it. I can just have it. Yay! So I'm going to get on with that in a second. I've got my bag and my purse ready. There's a bit of change in my purse too. But before I show you, well, I'm going to go out and have my shopping time. And I will no doubt bump into tons of friends while I'm out and about because it's really, really getting close to Christmas. So I think there might be a few folk who have finished at work who are now into holiday time. So yeah, if I bump into friends, I shan't be in a hurry to move on, to get on with other stuff. I'm just going to take my good old time with it. I can't wait. In the meantime, before I show you what I've bought, I did go out yesterday evening. It was just about at closing time on the high street, but I just went for a stroll up and down the high street to enjoy some of the lights and just kind of have that nice Christmassy vibe. So here are some of the lights I enjoyed last night. for twinkly lights. Love him. Right, well, I'm back from my jaunt. Oh, I'm so happy. What a lovely, lovely little jaunt. It has started raining. I think I timed it to perfection though, because it was just starting to drizzle when I was heading back to home. So, yeah, hoodie off to dry, into a dry jumper. And when I got home, how lovely. 2 little hand-delivered Christmas cards. So lovely. Oh, look, bird theme. I might tell you about this card one day. It's about the artist, because this artist is someone who was a neighbour when I was a really, really little child. Anyway, so lovely. And the great thing about living where I live is nobody needs to remember my address. Everybody knows Vivi lives above the health food shop. So, yeah. Cards being dropped in by hand is lovely. It's one of those things, if you come to the this is what my friends do anyway, when they come to the high street to do a bit of shopping, they're like, oh, I'll buzz on Vivi's, see if she's in, see if she fancies coming out for a coffee, or in my case, it would be a tea. Anyway, yeah, what a great place to live in the footfall of all my friends. I'm going to miss this location, this exact location when I move, but there we go. Now, on with the jaunt. So, I don't know whether that's drizzle or kind of building up a bit of sweat being outside. Hang on. So I'm also having a hot drink. This is so cute. I literally got down all the stairs and I was just out of my street door. I turned my back to the street to lock my front door, and then I got a bit of a boof in the back of my legs. I turned around and there was our little Joey. Joey is the most gorgeous, but also the most excitable little Bedlington Terrier. I love Joey. So, Joey, I haven't even got out of my building properly. Jumping all over, having cuddles, and of course at the other end of the lead is his mummy. So it was like, oh, hello, what are you up to? She was asking me, and I said, oh, I'm just going to go up to the bookshop and have a little browse. She said, oh, I'm just back from the bookshop, I'm just going home. And she got a bag full of lovely books that she's bought as Christmas presents. So anyway, we had a lovely little chat even before my jaunt had started. And yeah, carrying on up the hill a bit, and then passing one of our cafes, and there was an old guy in his wheelchair, kind of stuck he was stuck. So of course I sort of dive in to help, and as I'm sort of diving in to help, saying, you're all right, sir, we'll get you sorted. Another pair of hands dive in, and the other pair of hands is saying, are you okay? And no, I was this side. I kind of look up and I go, oh, hello, Paula. She says, oh, hello, Vivi. It's a friend of mine. So there we are, both getting stuck in to help this guy. We got him sorted. And I haven't even started spending my tenner, and it's already a lovely little jaunt. Anyway, so I've been up and down and round and round. And I kind of, well, I didn't know what I wanted specifically, but I pretty much knew I would probably want a book. You see, the thing is, that's the thing about this no-spend year. Oh my goodness. A no-spend year for me, I think is actually kind of almost easy now after all these years. But not buying any books, oh my goody goodness, that has been, I got used to it. But yeah, I've missed that thing of browsing, of just spending hours browsing and then finding the perfect book, finding my perfect book and taking it to the counter and handing it over to pay for it and then putting it into my bag and walking home with this precious object in my bag that's already burning into my brain, and you know, getting home and just enjoying the cover art and reading all the back cover again and anticipating and finding somewhere for it on my shelf. Where's it going to sit on the shelf? Who is it going to be friends with? which book should it be next to on the shelf? I've missed all of that. Now, of course, I have been buying some books. I buy them for the shop, but not for me. So, of course, I kind of thought I'd be looking at books. Let's get on with what's in the bag. But there was one book, I sort of had it on my mind as of, if I see that today, I'm having it. Now, I didn't find it. What I found was a DVD, a film of the book that I was after. So I got the film instead. I got White Fang. Oh, brilliant. I mean, I read the book donkeys years ago, when I was a kid, probably when I was sort of like 10 or 11, 12 maybe, that sort of age. Read it, loved it, and it's probably the thing that opened that door to me of all the sort of wilderness adventure stuff I love to read. So I didn't find the book today, but I found the film, and what better, you know, on these sort of dark, chilly evenings. I find that especially it's the evening time when it feels really cold and it's dark and, you know, I'm done with sewing or whatever. I just want to curl up with a good film. I don't even have to hold a book open to read it. Have the film with my quilt on. Perfect. Yay, I'm chuffed with that. £1. Brilliant. And whilst I was rummaging for that, I don't really often look at DVDs. I don't watch films very often, but today it was one of those, like, I'm going to just look at anything and everything. So while I was in the DVD department at this particular charity shop, I also found another DVD, also for £1. I'm sorry, I haven't a clue. I love it, I love it, I love it. So this is, for anyone who doesn't know, perhaps you're outside of the UK, this is a radio show that I love listening to. It's on BBC Radio 4. So this is a live stage version of it. And it's just a really silly, it's a very silly show. There's a lot of wordplay, clever wordplay. I love it. Now, I think this one must be a really, really quite old edition because there's at least 2 of the people on this cover have since died. I can't see a year on it. Can I? Oh, 2008. I don't care. It's the kind of humour that transcends time. So that's great. That's gonna, how long is it? Does it say? 106 minutes. Brilliant. That's nearly 2 hours. That's nearly 2 hours of laughing. I can't wait. That's going to be another fab curl up on a miserable night. Or perhaps if it's a day when I'm feeling a little bit low, as can happen in winter, I can pop that on and just, it's the kind of show I belly laugh to it. So fantastic, I'm chuffed with those. So far that's £2 spent. Honestly, it's such a treat. It's such a treat. And the thing is, if I just bought all this stuff every week, it wouldn't be a treat, would it? And I wouldn't get this much joy and fun from it. You know, maybe if I know some of you are having a low no spend year this year, and I hope you will give yourself a tenner for some treats if you can afford it. And I know that some of you have already said that next year you want to give it a go. So maybe when it's tough in the middle of the year and you're thinking, oh, I really want to spend, I really need to go, I need to have that kind of, what do they call it, retail therapy. Sort of remind yourself, say, okay, I'm not going to do it, but just before Christmas, I'm going to blow a whole 10 quid on anything. You know, if you're into ornaments, go and buy some ornaments. Right. Books. Now this one, 50p, that's unheard of. So one of my charity shops has now put all their paperback books to 50p. Generally it's kind of rubbish, Mills and Boon and all the stuff I wouldn't even bother with. However, this is a bit of a punt for me. Now, bearing in mind, a couple of years ago I took a punt on the P.D. James Christmas murder short stories. I thought, you know what, for 50p I'm going to have a go. This is called Mystery in White, a Christmas crime story. And it was the cover that I was like, ooh. And well, I saw the spine on the shelf first of all. I thought that looks quite classy. Let's have a look. 50p. I can't believe it. Now, on the premise is, I love this. This is going to be great. On Christmas Eve, heavy snowfall brings a train to a halt near the village of Hemmersby. Several passengers take shelter in a deserted country house, where the fire has been lit and a table laid for tea, but no one is home. Brilliant. Oh, that's just giving me a shiver to think about it. So it's not an author I know, J. Jefferson Farjan, don't know them. Their dates were 1883 to 1955. Oh, it's a he. His work was greatly acclaimed in his day. Dorothy L. Sayers wrote something nice. Anyway, what a great thing. A murder mystery? Is it a murder mystery? Well, if it's crime, so a kind of murder mystery, ghosty, spooky thing, set at Christmas, snow, deserted village or deserted grand house, trains. 50p! It's brand new. I can't get over that. I've never seen books so cheap around me. That would normally be the sort of thing I'd want to buy. So far we're at £1.2. We're at £2.50. Another book. Now this one was £2.50, which actually for the shop I got it from was quite cheap. Their paperbacks range from sort of £2.50 to £5. And this is called, very simply, At the Pond. Oh, it's got it on there. Swimming at the Hampstead Ladies' Pond. Oh my goodness. The Ladies' Pond has truly been one of the wonders of my life. Slipping into its waters is slipping into bliss. So again, for anyone who doesn't know, the Hampstead is an area of London. It's North London, otherwise I'd be in there all the time. And in that area, there are some wild swimming ponds. I think, are there three? There's a man's pond, a women's pond, and a mixed pond. But this is all about swimming at the women's pond, and it's all writers. So they are, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 writers have written a piece about their love of and their experience of swimming in the ponds. You know, there's some pretty famous ones: Margaret Drabble, Esther Freud, Deborah Mogarch, some I haven't heard of. So they're all writers by trade, but they also obviously have a passion for wild swimming. And I just thought, oh, how perfect is that? Folk talking about wild swimming, but in a literary way. Oh, I'm gonna love it. It's not a very thick book. It's not a very long book. How many pages? It's only 142 pages. That'll be gone in an afternoon. Oh, beautiful. A beautifully presented and made book too. Absolutely gorgeous. It's brand new as well. It's amazing. It's not, the spine hasn't been touched. That would have cost me $9.99 brand new. Actually, you know, my whole tenner could have gone on that. Margaret Drabble. Yes, she's one of them in there. There's a little excerpt from her bit which I'll share for you. So there's a little picture of the steps to enter down into the pond. It says, I loved to lower myself down the rungs of the ladder and launch... Sorry, I'll start again. That was really poor. I loved to lower myself down the rungs of the ladder and launch myself into the silky waters of the pond. Oof. There was something magical about the unplumbed depths, the moorhens, the dragonflies, the water lilies, the willows, the floating rings and rafts. Oh, I can't wait. That, I think, do you know what? I think they are two perfect books for me. Very different, but perfect in their ways. So far, my entertainment, that's £5. I've blown £5 already. What else can I get for my fiver? And for my tenner, I mean. So the next one, this is kind of random, but it's a treat. And it cost me, I can see the label on the top, £1.49. It's a box of Radox. Oh, I love it. Sorry, the camera's gone fuzzy now, hasn't it? I've put an extra light there to try and make the light and the... If I'm fuzzy, I'm fuzzy. Radox bath salts. Oh my goodness, I love some Radox. I don't know if Radox is all over the world, if it's one of those brands that everybody knows, but it's kind of, it's famous for being a sort of a muscle relaxing, it's a very soothing bath. Now, I normally bathe in Epsom salts. I buy Epsom salts by a big bucket. They're nothing special. I don't know how well they work even, but you chuck them in the bath. There's no scent to them. There's nothing special. It's just what you have in your bath to ease your muscles, whether it's after a day in the garden or just a day of life. Radox have a scent. It's all their herbals and can't wait. But the great thing is, cardboard box. So once I'm done bathing, this can either go in the recycling or be shredded for the compost. Gorgeous. So £1.50 on some bath time treat. And I've got a feeling, though I've gone really fuzzy, haven't I? I'm looking in the display bit, but I've got a feeling that those two things combined are the perfect treat. So, what else? So far that's £6.49. Let's call it £6.50 because I can't be bothered doing maths today. Time for a foodie treat. Oh, this is so naughty. This is so naughty. It's sugary, it's sweet, it's junk. Love it. French fancies. Oh my goodness. I can't remember the last time I had a French fancy. Good old Mr. Kipling. So there's 8, these are the frosty fancies, and I really like these because they're all the vanilla ones. So normally French fancies, they come in, there's 8, a box of 8, and they come in, I think it's 3 flavours. There's a yellow one, a pink one, and a brown one. And I don't like the brown ones from memory, but I had these a couple of years ago at a friend's place. Loved them. They were on offer for £1.50. So I was like, I'm having them. I'm so having some French fancies. So where are we at now? £6.50. So £7.99. So I've only got £2 and a penny left. I haven't gone. You'll notice this year I haven't gone for that knockoff Irish cream that Lidl's do. Yeah, it's really lovely, but I've had it for the last couple of years. I'm happy to do without and have something else instead. Yeah, I'm just happy to do without it this year. They seem to have it every year, so maybe next year it'll be back. It'll be back in the old shopping bag. I might cry now. I might cry now. I'm going to cry now, but it's happy crying, honestly. Oy vey. So, after the food bank treats video, so many of you said, Vivi, get yourself the selection box. And I thought, you know what? 8 or 9p, I'm jolly well going to do it. So I've just been back there, sold out. And I thought, oh, well, that's it. Never mind, it's just one more year when Vivi doesn't have a selection box. Oh, poor Vivi. And then I went to one of the supermarkets. I went into Sainsbury's. Oh my God, I need to, honestly, this is crazy ridiculous, but for the first time in 55 years, little Vivi is going to have a selection box this Christmas. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I don't know, but... And what I love about this is... So this was £2. There are 6 items in this one, rather than the 5 items at Lidl. So it's quite a bit more expensive. I didn't weigh the other one. Maybe it's got slightly bigger bars in it. But what I love is this one's in the cardboard box. And that's what I remember as a kid. It was the rattling in the cardboard box. You'd scooch it open and pull it out and it's a tray full of chocolates. Enjoy and celebrate the blimmin' simple stuff, honestly. I'm feeling very, very emotional about this. Get a grip, Vivi. I'm going to, because you wouldn't get your selection box till Christmas when you were a kid, if you got one. So I'm gonna wait for Christmas Day to open this. I'm gonna be really good. So, what a lovely, so I've got really naughty food treats, I've got a gorgeous bath time treat, and I've got some absolutely fabulous entertainment. Absolutely fabulous. And I think something like At the Pond, I think that's the sort of book that once I've read it, in all likelihood, I think I'll probably keep it, because it's probably the sort of book to dip into again from time to time. Whenever I want to, calm my mood, just read a few pages about swimming in the pond. Beautiful. So I am really, really happy with that lot. I think what I need to do now is I'm going to go and put the kettle on. I'm having honey and lemon again because but I think what I'm going to do is put the kettle on, have another one of my pocket teas, and have a French fancy this afternoon. Well, it's actually, the time's racing. It's going to be this evening before we know. I'm starting to get chilly again. I need to put another layer on. That's just because when I came home, I was buzzing, and so I was warm. But yeah, loved it, loved it, loved it. I love being able to share that with you all too. Yeah, do that for you if you. There's probably not enough time to do it this year, is there? Because by the time you see this, we'll nearly be to Christmas Day. But maybe plan this for yourself next year, or with kids or grandchildren. If they're not having pocket money, if you're being really, really frugal, maybe do it as a family. I've gone fuzzy again, haven't I? I think the camera is struggling because the light is so poor at the moment. Can I come back? No. Yeah. Just allow yourself that moment of freedom. Honestly, it's made me so happy. It's made me ridiculously happy. For 10 quid. Right, okay, I'm going to say cheerio now before I go on and on and on and waffle into the night and get ridiculously emotional about things. So yeah, I wish you all so well in the coming days. I will see you all again, for those of you who fancy tuning in. I'll see you again on Christmas Day, probably. That's the plan. But otherwise, if I don't see you before then, have a happy Christmas. Have whatever Christmas you want to have and you need to have. I hope that's what you have. That's what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, please be well. Look after yourself. Look after each other. Look out for each other. Share love, share joy, share warmth. Yeah, share the warmth. The heating's going on Christmas Day. I'm not having Christmas Day in the cold. I can tell you that for nothing. Right, so until then, huge love to you all. Cheerio.